for Bring Your Own Lunch. Personal stories about the business with my daddy, Dave T. Koenig.
All right, come on in, have a seat. Welcome. This is the Bring Your Own Lunch podcast at BringYourOwnLunch.com, the magic of iTunes, the majesty of Stitcher, and however you found your way to download this podcast, I thank you. As you heard at the top, my name is Dave T. Koenig. I'm an actor, writer, director, producer, comedian, all-around swell dude. I'm just now getting over a bout of food poisoning. Not fun. And of course, I'm the host of the podcast you're listening to right now. BYOL is the hashtag we use if you want to reach out on social media. We're out there. You can find us on Facebook and like us at facebook.com/bringyourownlunch. You can follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. Hook up with us on Instagram at BringYourOwnLunch. And of course, there's that whole big website of ours, BringYourOwnLunch.com, where you can find out all the information about all the guests, past, present, and future, presumably, of this program. And you can also always send me a personal email, Dave at BringYourOwnLunch.com, and I'm getting a little more of that lately, and I'm very happy about it. People are starting to reach out to me as potential guests for this show, and I'm thrilled. I think it's great. And my guest this week is a guy who decided to reach out to me, even though we have several mutual friends and we have lots of common experience. This is somebody I hadn't met until I did this interview, similar to my interview last week with Julie Sharbit. I met Steve Belanger for the first time to record this interview, and Steve's a really interesting guy. He is an actor, he is a producer, he is a writer, he is an entrepreneur, he's a podcast host. Sound familiar? Well, Steve and I have a very similar background, and we use this discussion to find out all those common points in our respective paths, and it's very interesting to me. Steve was a guy who was very successful in the corporate world for many, many years, 16 years, as he puts it, and decided to put that all aside and dedicate his life and experience to becoming a performer. And his path to that is really interesting. And I've said before that this podcast is in many ways directed to somebody who is maybe sitting just at the periphery of the business, who is doing other things, but has that thought in the back of their minds, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that they would love to be out there on a stage, or they would love to be writing, or they would love to be producing, or they would love to be doing something other than what they're doing. And the fear is that if you leave your comfortable spot you're in now, that you're going to leave yourself in dire straits. And sometimes that can happen. Sometimes taking a leap of faith requires that you may actually end up in a worse position than you started. But if you follow your heart, you follow your desire, you follow your dreams, good things can happen. And Steve is on his way to making that happen. In fact, his journey is part of his success in that he has a show coming out in April. Every Saturday night in April at the Producers Club in New York City, he's got a show called It's About Time. It's a solo show that is getting some really good reaction, and he's going to be unleashing it on New York City throughout the month of April. So we will talk about that show, as well as his trip through various corporate stops along the way, his career in publishing, which includes a stop at Penthouse Magazine. Ooh, little teaser there. And as you'll find out, it's not as exciting as the title might suggest, but that's part of the fun. And all the things he's done since then. So it's a really interesting story, and I think you're going to enjoy it. His podcast, by the way, is the Gamut with Steve Belanger, and he's promised to have me on as a guest. So consider this a two-show process. First, me interviewing Steve, and then eventually Steve interviewing me. And hopefully you will enjoy this one enough to like us both and want to continue hearing the story from both angles. So get ready for that. In the meantime, I had a couple things I wanted to tell you about. First of all, I sometimes do these video shout-out things where I tell you about a video that I think is really good and that you should see. And this week, there was a video that came out on Facebook from the people behind the show, The Following. And if you've listened to this show, you know that I have an appearance in an upcoming episode of The Following, and I wasn't going to start plugging it until, maybe next week, but what the heck, let's plug it now. I'm going to be in an episode of The Following on Fox called Flesh and Blood, and that is due to appear on April 13th on your local Fox station. And the people behind that, including director Marco Siega, put out a video called Funny and Die, which, as you probably can tell, is a play on Funny or Die. and it features many of the players of the show The Following. The second week in a row, I'm actually talking about Kevin Bacon here and his wife, Keira Sedgwick. James Purifoy makes an appearance in it. And Dean Winters, who is amazing in this video and is never not good, by the way. Dean Winters is brilliant, and I have always been a big fan of his going back to his days on Oz. He's brilliant in this one, as usual. It's really, really good, and I'm going to have the video up in the show notes for this episode, but definitely check it out. Funny and Die from the people behind the show The Following. And I think you'll enjoy it. There's a couple surprises in there as well. I'm not going to tell you about all of it. It's just worth watching because it's amazing. Just go watch it. So and also, keep watching The Following, and eventually I'll show up on April 13th. And if you really, really want to watch Dave, I don't know why I said my name in the third person, but if you really want to watch me in April, also I make a brief appearance in an episode of Daredevil that's coming out on Netflix on April 10th. Assuming the editing gods are with me, of course. But as it stands right now, I'm in one of the episodes that will all come out at the same time on Netflix. That's starting April 10th, so keep an eye out for that. I'll probably plug this a few more times as we get closer to the date because, I'm an actor. This is what we do. Also, a big part of what we do is networking. And I have always believed that this career, acting, and many performance careers, so much of what we do is really marketing. The actual work we get to do for when people are paying us, that's the stuff we would do for free and happily do so. What they really pay us for is the stuff that we don't get paid for, like all this time we need to spend networking and promoting and marketing ourselves. That's what we really put the hard work into most often. And it's not as though people who are fantastic actors don't put hard work into it. Don't get me wrong. But the work that we really struggle through, the stuff we do to get the payoff of being able to get paid to act, well, that's a lot of hard work that involves a lot of networking, a lot of marketing, a lot of self-promotion, a lot of other stuff that isn't as fun as acting, but we do it anyway because this is what we love. And I'm starting to get back into that idea. If you want a piece of advice, don't give up on that angle. And it's not just me who will tell you this, and I'll explain that. I spent last week going to a couple networking events, and it ended up being fantastic, and I'm so glad I did it. The first one I went to was put together by a group called Film Interchange that's led up by Jen Mello. And this is just an opportunity twice a month for filmmakers and actors and people of the like to get together and exchange business cards and ideas and thoughts. And every one of these events, they have a guest speaker who is very, very well established and worth going to go listen to. And in this case, the one who was the guest speaker just happened to be Mark Farrell, who is just look him up on Google because he's done everything. I think probably the highlight for many people is that he directed the pilot episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm and worked very closely with Larry David to make that happen. And come on. Working in a television capacity with one of the most successful television people on earth puts you in some pretty lofty company. So I would say Mark Farrell knows what he's talking about. And a lot of the stuff that he did share during his Q&A session was just great. I would say go to these events so you can get these notes for yourself. One of the neat things about going to an event like that is you kind of have an insider's look at things. And if you didn't go, well, shame on you. You should have been there. So I'm not going to give you too much. But one of the things that Mark did share was that he finds one-on-one time, just going out to get coffee or a beer, quote unquote. This is proverbial stuff. You don't actually have to get coffee or beer. I happen to like neither. So I'm going to get a soda. But if you spend the time to make connections and foster those connections and really tell people, and I think this is how he put it, show the people you care about that you care, then good things can happen. And by extension, getting together with people in a group at an event like Film Interchange, that's another great way to make things happen. And you just never know. And I think without that one-on-one personal handshake time, you're never going to get as far. and I'm trying to remember this. I used to be really good at it, and then life got in the way, and then the internet kind of put me on a path towards thinking that, all I have to do is type on Facebook, and I'll reach out to the world, and everybody will notice and love me so much. But you can be forgotten very easily on the internet very quickly. That's just the nature of the beast. But if you have a really great conversation with somebody in person, that will stand for a lot longer. So I decided to take the experience with Film Interchange, and you can check out all their events at filminterchange.com. I went to Creative Cinema Circle's event. They do a monthly event, which is another mixer type thing where you get together with other filmmakers and interested parties. They get together at a place called formerly Crow's in New York City. And one of the founders of Creative Cinema Circle is Tiffany Hodges, my old friend, who was a guest on this program back in episode 20. But she and there's a list of people who founded it, but the people I actually had connections with, James Oxford, who is actually a big fan of the show, which I'm very flattered about, and Lance Marshall and Amy Leland, also somebody who said she's a big listener of the podcast, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So they put together these events, and again, it's so valuable just to share time with people face to face, and I'm so grateful I had a chance to do those events last week, and it's it's part of my job as an actor to be present more at events like that. And if you are in this business or you're just outside the business, well, one way for you to enhance your business is to just get out and be around. Sometimes they say, it's like being in the right place at the right time. But if you're not anywhere, you can't possibly be in the right place at any time. So get on out there and do something. Oh, by the way, it was great to run into my old friend Keith Eric Chappelle, who is a guy I worked with on a couple commercials. Actually, it was 2 different commercials. He was in one, I was in the other. They shot in the same day, but we've kept in touch. And I say negative things about Facebook, but honestly, it's because of Facebook I kept in touch with him. But it was great to run into him, and we chatted, and he's doing amazing things. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to him. But if you want to check out all of what Creative Cinema Circle is doing, you can check them out at creativecinemacircle.com. And of course, if I'm giving out thanks, I got to thank Banooba, Banooba.net, BANOOBA.net. They're the folks that provide the music at the beginning, middle, and end of this show. If you want to hear some good music, go to their site, download some, buy their music, go see them live. They're fantastic live. They're a great band, and you can't go wrong going to check out Banooba. All right, and by the way, if you do want to help people out, if you are in the charitable mood, I would just ask that you go to iTunes or Stitcher, and when you do go there, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Usually we put this thing out on a Tuesday, late Tuesday, but we don't really announce it or who's on the show until Wednesday. And that's because I want people who subscribe to the show to have a little bit of something extra. So if you're a subscriber to the show, you're going to get it before anybody else. You're going to be aware of it before anybody else. But also, it really helps us out because by rating and reviewing and subscribing, you're telling iTunes that we're doing good stuff, and they will in turn use their special algorithms to tell other people to listen to this podcast. So if you have a moment, just go there. It'll take a minute, rate, review, subscribe, and everyone will be happier, especially me. All right, let's get into it with my new friend, Steve Belanger, podcast host, actor, producer, writer, former Penthouse executive. Ooh, teaser. He's a good guy. You're going to enjoy this. Sit back, relax. Here's Steve. You're heading up right after this to rehearse your show?
Yes.
It's your one-man show. I should almost said one person, but...
My one-man show.
Your one-man show. We can start there, and then we'll backtrack, go all the way back to the beginning, but...
Sure.
For the purposes of doing business, we can get into your show. What's the show about?
It's a one-man autobiographical tale of some really bad timing.
So, some of which we will cover during this,
Sure.
And it's called...
It's About Time.
It's About Time. So having set the stage with that, I guess we can then
That is a level.
Get into your history. So, you're an actor, but you're a writer. I saw some producing kind of stuff on there. Obviously, you're doing a one-man show. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of a jack of all trades, but you didn't start that way.
No.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Fall River. Yes. Where's that near?
It's about 50 miles south of Boston, closer to Providence.
50 miles south. Okay, so
right in. You know how Cape Cod is like the arm making a muscle of Massachusetts?
Sure.
We were in the armpit.
Nice.
Of Massachusetts.
And did you feel that way growing up?
The whole time?
Yeah, you felt. Was there like a second city kind of? You felt lesser than Boston or
totally.
The other? Yeah.
It was small. It was a smaller city, and it was predominantly French Canadian and Portuguese.
Really?
Like, that was it. There was one Jewish kid in my high school. Like everybody else was either French Canadian or Portuguese. They all came there at some point.
What an odd confluence of people.
Yes, and I just thought every city was like that.
And you thought so you were exposed to French Canadians, mm-hmm. which in and of itself,
which is and that's I'm 50-50 split.
Okay, so how does that work? Are you 50-50 Portuguese French Canadian?
Yep.
No kidding.
My grandparents on my father's side are from Canada, and my grandparents on my mother's side are from the Azores in Portugal.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's a pretty fascinating background.
Yeah.
That's,
it wasn't to me because everybody had
that's right. Same. Whereas to the rest of America and perhaps the world, you were fairly unique.
Yes.
In your hometown.
I still like to think I am, Dave.
You were just another French Canadian Portuguese kid trying to make a buck.
Standing on the corner, turning tricks for the bus. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated with this. So the French Canada, I've been to Montreal, I've been mm-hmm. to Quebec, and I have friends in Canada, and it's almost like its own nation. Mm-hmm. Did any of that sort of filter down to you, like the attitudes about Canada or?
No, because I've never been to either.
Okay. So how far removed are you from your French Canadian roots?
The grandparents.
Just the grandparents.
And they came here very young.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
On one side, the Portuguese folks came over a little later in life.
Oh, okay. And Portuguese, it's a different situation because they have their own country.
They have their own country.
Yeah.
And they were probably looked at as they probably came later into the city as well.
Okay, yeah.
So they were one step below the Irish who came after the French,
But you must have had some good food growing up.
It was all spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And now, you can't find any of it. Well, actually, now they're opening Portuguese restaurants, and it's like the hot thing. I'm like,
yeah.
That's the shit I grew up on. Like, that's the shit nobody else wanted to eat.
What was something that you grew up that you think nobody else would really appreciate?
We stayed away from the hardcore stuff like the blood pudding.
Yeah.
But I grew up on like sweet bread, which is like a very specific type of bread, and Portuguese sausage, which was chorizo.
Right.
Super spicy. I just loved all that stuff.
Sweet bread, it reminds me of hearing how, again, it was in, it was the Italian immigrants to Canada mm-hmm. looked around and looked at the bread everybody was eating because they were used to the hard, crusty bread. Yeah. And they saw this like sweet, soft bread that the Canadians were eating. They all called them cake eaters. Did you ever hear that? No, that's really funny. All right. There's a little side story that means nothing to anybody.
I like it.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
I try.
So it was a typical, again, I'm fascinated by this because it's such a unique mixture of people. And you said it was a city as opposed to a town.
It was probably about 100,000 people.
Okay, so it's not necessarily New York City, but it was not a small populace.
It was a city with different neighborhoods, and at one point it was, in the turn of the century, it was the biggest garment manufacturer, the textile mills.
Oh, wow.
It was enormous. Like there was a cruise line that would go up and down the river, and it was fancy.
Wow.
And that had all stopped, I think, in the 40s or sometime before I was born.
Yeah, well enough in time to make your growing up less comfortable.
So my town was depressed when I came in.
Okay.
And all the old textile mills were already shut down. But I'm sure at some point they must have employed thousands of people because they were enormous concrete edifices.
Yeah. So what were your interests growing up? Because, again, a big part of your story is the big change in careers and stuff like that. So what were your interests growing up?
Star Wars.
Sure.
And then Farrah Fawcett predominantly. Mm-hmm. But I always loved movies. I was the third of three kids. Mm-hmm. Two really close together, and then a long gap.
Oh.
And then me. Uh-huh. I'm sure that was planned.
You were the miracle.
I was or oops, however you want to look at it.
The oopsie miracle. That's
So I spent a lot of time at going to movies by myself. Just, remember Dream On, the HBO series?
Sure.
The kid was placed in front of the TV and raised by television.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
That's my life story.
Right.
I grew up with Captain Kangaroo, Yogi Bear. I would plan out my day from the time I got home from kindergarten and first grade until I was put down to bed.
You just knew all the TV, the whole schedule.
Everything.
So I was the same way.
Cartoons, right into I Love Lucy's, right into Hogan's Heroes. Like as a 7-year-old watching Hogan's Heroes and memorizing every line.
Yeah.
That's not right.
But it was. Now that you're doing what you're doing, now we can call it research.
It should have been a tax write-off.
That's right. Now you can go back on your childhood, refile for 1974, and I don't know how old you are.
All those years of therapy.
All those years of therapy, you can now write off as studying for your eventual role as a psychiatric patient who watches too much TV.
You're like me, and I'm older than you, but now like you get to an age where you can look back and you go, oh, all the building blocks, it's like the DNA, the protein blocks that got me here.
Absolutely.
All started with that kid who moved, took the little chair from his little dining room set, plopped it in front of the TV, and got up to change the channels.
Right.
Watching those shows, watching MASH.
Yeah.
At 8 years old, and watching story A, story B, following the plot lines.
So
I don't know. It made sense back then. I didn't know why.
Well, it was obviously something you were passionate about, something you were drawn to. Mm-hmm. But as we find out a little bit later that you went into the world of business. So at what point did you maybe put that stuff aside and start hunkering down? Because, you have to kind of choose one way or the other at some point. Somebody's going to make you choose a direction.
Yeah.
What was that for you?
And it wasn't even like I was thinking, oh, I want to, boy, I would love to act in something, or I would love to write. Like, that's not the kind of city I grew up in.
Right.
You were going to go to high school. And there were two. You could go to high school to get ready to go to college, or go to the trade school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they were both viable options. I was closer to being a chef at that point.
Wow.
Because I like cooking, again, because I was a latchkey kid and did a lot of the family cooking. I'm like, I know how to fucking bake a chicken. I'm 9 years old. I should be going to trade school.
Right. And now they'd put you on some sort of junior version of, Top Chef.
That would be so sad. He keeps making the same fucking chicken. Are we allowed to curse?
I don't care. It's the FCC. What are they going to do? They don't bust down the door.
Your demographic is predominantly 12 and under, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I go for. Okay. But they got to learn somewhere. Better they should learn it from us, Steve. Better they should learn it from us.
I liked writing, but it was never a thing. And then got to college and I like those courses. Oh wait, my homework is to write a story. I like that.
Right. Where did you go to school?
I went to school at Fairfield University in Connecticut. So I kept moving further west.
Okay. And a little bit south? Yes, at that point?
I just kept going down Route 95.
Okay, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
And then I moved to Stanford after that, and I just kept coming to New York City.
And at Fairfield, business was your focus?
No,
it wasn't. Okay.
I was decent at math in high school. And they had accounting courses in high school, and it was easy, and I did it. I'm right-brained or left, whatever brain handles the numbers.
Sure.
I have a pretty good side.
Okay.
I did well on that, and I think I actually went to college. On my applications, it was for an accounting major. Okay. And then about 3 weeks in, I went, oh.
Yeah.
No, this isn't good.
Yeah. It's just so funny. And I go on and on about this. It's seemingly on a weekly basis that it is so odd that we ask 17, 18-year-olds to plot out the rest of their lives with that one decision that makes them unbelievably burdened with debt.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go.
And here's the path.
Yeah.
And stay on it and just keep digging that hole.
Yeah.
And then when you're 30, be miserable.
And hopefully the job that you have been training for all this time will exist when it's time to come pay back those bills, and it's very strange to me.
In our case, I still love Star Wars. I still love Farrah Fawcett. May she rest in peace. But, a lot of the other stuff I watched and listened to back then, not so much.
Yeah, no, the 18-year-olds, I think by and large, and you 12-year-old and under kids, you'll have something to look forward to, generally have kind of bad taste. So.
And I watched MASH and some of those, so I had somewhat decent taste. But I also watched Give Me a Break with Nell Carter, so I ran the gamut.
Well, I don't know where you put that on the list, because that was a hell of a show. So what did you end up focusing on if it wasn't accounting?
I have a degree in psychology.
Really?
Because my sister, who had gone to the same school a few years ahead of me, that's the path she chose.
Okay.
And is still a practicing psychologist to this day.
And it's worked out.
And I said, oh, that sounds like kind of cool classes. And I liked them, you know. At no point thinking, where am I going to go with this?
Yeah. You weren't planning on becoming a practicing psychologist and with a roster of patients or the clients or whatever. What the hell ever you call them?
I don't even know if I was planning on getting out of college.
Okay, yeah. You were just there to...
Like, that's when, not my personality bloomed, but like I was like, oh, I've just come from this small town where like college was maybe something you went to, oh, this is the real world. Yeah. And I do pretty well here. Yeah. But I'm also a drunk and I don't go to a lot of classes.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forget, I didn't finish in the 4 years because I ran out of money.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't come from money and it was a very rich school. Yeah. I hung out with a lot of rich kids, but I couldn't really afford it. And my grades were shitty and everything bad.
Sure.
So I started working really menial jobs, bartending, bar backing, you know, doing all sorts of stuff. And I got a job doing computer stuff because I was decent at that before people knew computers.
Right. Where you could really specialize and people would be like, you know how this works.
Yeah. And I was totally bluffing.
Yeah.
I knew so little. But I wasn't afraid of them because I was young and stupid and didn't know much better. And
Sure.
Who can do that? Oh, I can.
Yeah.
And then I would just sit in the back office for an hour and keep plugging shit in and go, hey, it works.
They'd be so impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got magic fingers. That's how my dad is. You know, whenever I fix something, I'll just click a couple things just on instinct and it'll work, but it amazes the heck out of him. And it's like, I wish everything I did amazed everybody so much.
I wish the world could look at me the way my in-laws do when I can figure out the tip on a check. It's like $83. There's no way to figure out the tip. It's impossible. $16. Oh, God. Thank goodness you're in the family.
Nobody knows how to carry that much of a remainder.
Well, I'm also a big tipper, so take 10%, you double it. It's so easy.
It's actually not too hard.
They're trying to figure out 17.5%. Unless it was bad service, then it's 14.3.
Yeah, but I could say, I mean, that's the one mathematical one where it's like seems pretty easy because you take 10%, you take half of that. And if you really are specific, you take half of that.
I've tried to explain it to them, and I lose them on you take 10%.
Oh, okay.
So 10 times.
Yeah. So we're going to give a tip of $453.
So sad.
Yes.
So, yes, at some point, I'm in Connecticut working in a small market research firm doing computers, and a buddy of mine from Fairfield worked at Penthouse Magazine.
Now, at the time, and roughly, I don't want to, age you or
1988.
1988.
We can age me all I want.
So magazines that had people in them who weren't wearing clothes were still the golden chalice,
the Holy Grail.
Yeah, the Holy Grail.
This was just after Vanessa Williams had appeared in Penthouse. They just opened up the door and people fucking threw money at them. Yeah. And after that, the Madonna nudes came out. Sure. That was huge. The month I started was the Jimmy Swaggart scandal.
Okay.
Which was the hooker that he had paid.
Right.
Came to Penthouse.
What's her name? Was it
Deborah Murphy.
Wow. I didn't remember. I just remember him. I was immediately going to say like Jessica Hahn, but that's not. That
was
else.
Jim Baker.
And was she in Penthouse or was she in Playboy?
Yes, I think she did both.
Okay, well there you go.
At some point,
at some point, both were viable options.
And that was a big we're talking huge contracts to get those type of women.
Yeah.
But that was literally the Jimmy Swaggart story was the top of the roller coaster. Like that's right when you see the sign that say "keep your hat on and your hands inside the vehicle." Then they hired me, and the fucking porn magazine industry just went straight down the hill. And that roller coaster ride began.
What do you think? Well, first of all, what did you do for them?
Literally, my buddy was in the production department.
Okay,
which
that sounds like a pretty good place to be if you're working with naked pictures.
Not really. It was ordering the paper and looking at how much it cost to print the magazine.
Also, not like actually producing the magazine.
They did it, but that wasn't what I was going to be doing.
Okay.
But I would go to the plant in the color room. Which is really a technical term, but when they start up the printing press, it takes a while to get all four colors to match perfectly.
Yes.
And to really pop. And there's just a big room with perfect lighting that you have to sit and look at the naked women with the loop and look at the armpit and go, that's a little pinker than that is. Wow. Now, let's run it for another hour.
Now, some people who work in that industry say they get desensitized.
Totally.
Did you eventually just
I always compared it to working in Dunkin' Donuts. It would be great for a week.
Yeah.
Crawlers, chocolate cream filled.
Yeah.
And, after week 2, you just never want to see a glazed donut again.
I can imagine. Yeah. No, I guess the exception would be in both cases if you were 16.
Yes. And I wasn't, I was 21.
Yeah. You had gone past the point of that being exciting just for the sake of being exciting.
It was still exciting at the beginning, but
it wore off.
How many naked, at some point, you can't stay in the batting cage forever. You actually want to get out on the diamond and play ball. You just can't keep practicing.
I understand.
So they really needed...
Ask your parents what that means.
Google it. Everybody has the Google.
Yeah.
My buddy had gotten another job and they needed a replacement for him. And in 1988, he was still doing everything on big ledger sheets.
Oh, wow.
I think he had just gotten a computer at his desk.
Okay, yeah.
So he just told them, hey, they wouldn't let him move. He got a writing job in the promotion department.
Oh, okay,
and okay. Yeah, you can go, but you can't leave our department until you find a replacement.
Ah, okay.
So he's like, oh, I got a buddy who's great with computers. Literally, we figured this out at 1:00 in the morning, and the next day I was sitting there sweating during the interview.
Oh man,
I can do that.
Yeah. It's you just gotta type on the keyboard, and it's like the pilot for the IT crowd, the IT crowd. Google it. So how long were you at Penthouse?
I was there for 8 years.
8 years,
but right out of the box. It was all numbers and it seemed cool. I went from being a kid, in a short span working at a gas station in my hometown,
right,
to going to college, to getting on a train and going into Manhattan like a real grown up,
like a real person,
yeah. And working 9 to 5 and then the commute back home. And my day, as cool as it was being at Penthouse, was a lot of number work and a lot of
the other side of the business. Not as glamorous.
And I did at that point have still that little inkling. Boy, I miss writing. And I hung out, my buddy had gone on to writing. It was advertising, but he was still writing. He was creative.
Right.
And there's a lot of creative people there. And, I was the Portuguese version of them there. I was still lower class. Oh, he works with numbers.
Yeah.
But we're all the creative people.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Right? A second class citizen.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not nearly as intentional as it feels at the time. But, when I was just out of school, I was in radio and I was a news anchor. And it was for a radio station that was like an adult contemporary station. And the jocks were like the celebrities. Mm-hmm. I was on the air, but I was sort of also there.
Yeah.
And you do feel that sense of second class citizen / resentment, and nobody's forcing that on anybody, but it's just how things evolve.
Oh, invite Crazy Maddie and the Goose and Dave.
Dave.
He's an on-air guy.
If we have nobody else. we don't have a couple speakers we can send instead.
I still remember it was for one of our it was Penthouse, and then they drifted off to it was a new magazine called Hot Talk. Another just naked women.
Okay.
They were trying to be a little more funny and creative with it, but it was just another one of our stable of magazines.
Sure.
And a couple of guys that I would drink with were up in an office one day, and I went up to hang out with them, and there were 6 guys, an editorial meeting, and they were trying to come up with the perfect cover line. They just kind of hung back. And I still, to this day, don't remember what the topic was or what it was, but I said, what about, tickle her ass with a feather? Something. I have no idea what it was. It was just something, I like to think I'm slightly witty. I threw something out there, and 7 heads turned as one.
Oh, disapproval.
Kind of an editorial meeting here, Steve. Oh. Just a total. Maybe we'll see you at lunch. Okay, we'll see you down at the bar. Thanks. Thanks. Could you close that?
They reached down, grabbed your manhood, and said, "You won't be needing that anymore at this business."
And still, I don't know what anybody said, but the 5 or 6 suggestions I heard before that were either shittier or as shitty as whatever I came up with.
But you were not the appropriate source.
I was not. I was the guy in the tie.
Right.
I wasn't a creative tie.
You were a suit. You were a stiff.
I literally walked out of there like I'd been pantsed in gym class in high school. But that started me. I wrote 2 pitches, article pitches, and hand delivered them to New York Magazine and to Spy.
Oh.
Back when you could just put stuff in an envelope, address it to editorial department, go up to their mailroom and say, here you go, like, and not have to have a million different pass keys and stuff.
Yeah, no, just you didn't have to have an email address.
I didn't have a computer. It was nothing. You just knocked on doors. And they were, I thought, decent pitches. And I heard back from both of them miraculously.
Wow.
And both editors said something in the vein of, we like this, but we've got something in the works kind of similar. Or we just did this a year ago.
Right.
And both said, but if you have anything else, let us know. Which now, having been in this business forever, is a lovely open door.
Sure.
Just hearing back from anybody.
Yeah.
Like usually if you drop something off, you wouldn't hear anything back. You can send out a million emails and not hear back.
Yeah, exactly.
These two guys went out of their way to write me a letter, mail it back, and say, not for us, but keep us in the pipe.
Yeah.
I took that as the biggest blow to my confidence and did not write again for years.
So how many years did it take? Well, you said you were at Penthouse for 8 years.
I was at Penthouse for 8 years, so that was in my first year.
Yeah.
And never ventured outside.
And you for the next 7 years, oh man.
Nothing.
Did you climb the ladder? During that time? Yeah. Okay. So you became more successful.
I kept making money.
Suit. Yeah.
I ended up as the budget director for the entire company.
Oh my God.
I was a big deal.
So what kind of numbers were we talking about? Like how much money was that magazine generating or that group of magazines generating back in the day?
Oh man, just millions and millions. Like Guccione had a net personal worth in 1982 of over $400 million.
Jeez.
Almost $500 million.
Jeez.
Because they started in the U.S. in 69 until I got there, 88.
Yeah.
Close to 2 decades of just, you put ink of naked ladies on magazines, on paper and send it out, and people send you pieces of paper with presidents on them.
Yes,
just by the buckload.
They should have just skipped the middleman and just printed out money at that point.
That would have been easier.
Yeah, yeah.
But he did not, he was not a good businessman.
Did you work with him directly ever?
At the end.
At the end?
At the end.
What was he like?
Very strange.
And this is Bob Guccione.
Bob Guccione with that voice. That very deep baritone. He was always on Howard.
Yeah.
Stern.
Yeah.
And we'd be working at Penthouse when he'd be on Howard.
Yeah.
And just hearing his voice echo through the hall, everybody in their cubicle listening. Howard was on the cover of Penthouse, I want to say in 93 or 94. And he was every morning he would talk about, Guccione came over. They did the photo shoot.
Right.
It's great. My book's coming out. This is going to be great. I'm going to be a cover boy. He would just talk about it endlessly.
Yeah.
The magazine came out. Good picture of him dressed in purple. Big cover line, Howard Stern. And then in little letters, has a really small penis.
I remember that.
Right?
I remember that.
And the day it came out, he got it on air. And he flipped out. Son of I did so much. I promote that magazine. Get Frank Davino on the phone, who was the art director.
Was it legit, or was he doing?
No, I think it was legit.
Oh wow!
Because as he's yelling, Frank, get the head of that art department, Frank Davino, get him on the phone. And then all of a sudden you'd hear, Frank Davino, please call the operator. Frank Davino.
Oh man!
And it was everybody stood up.
Wow!
And then you listen to the radio a little more. Baba Booey would come in and say, nobody's answering. Now give me somebody.
That's
Ricky Blyer, please come to the operator. Ricky, the second in command.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Still nobody. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique. Not too many people. Maybe somebody who works in the stock room calls in and wins tickets.
Yeah.
But not everybody's getting called out on the air.
And these are guys I know getting called out by name and being paged over the system.
Man. Was it resolved? Was it?
I just think they were trying to say because he always talked about that on air.
It's not like he was shy about saying that about himself. So
he was so excited. This was before he was the movie star.
Oh, okay.
Before the book had come out.
He was still on the cusp.
He was still on the cusp. Maybe a few Letterman appearances. Now this was he had it in his mind. I think that this was the big time.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
And he shows his mom that it says he has a small penis.
Now, doesn't that say a lot, though, how much things have changed? Because, and how things actually are kind of the same at the same time, because Howard Stern became king of media. He had his own radio show in the #1 market in New York City, in the nation, and was syndicated all over the country. Yet he felt that being on the cover of Penthouse would make him the star.
Yeah. It was so big. Like, I can't even explain it to people now. Like, but then it was so big. It was like, for some people, for a comic to go on Carson, that was the dream. Yeah. You know, to be interviewed as somebody. Like, I remember they interviewed Dice Clay inside. Like, and that was a big deal for him. Yeah. Like, that helped his career. Sure. It was doing 5 million issues a month on the newsstand. Like, right. We were publishing a lot of copies. And nowadays, I don't think there is a single publication that could make or break somebody at this point. No, I don't. I mean, EW, I don't even think can make or break somebody. People, it's all reality stuff. And it's all going to go to the internet first. And by the time it's in print, it's kind of old news. But, you know, I still write for a monthly magazine occasionally for Men's Health. Sure. Because I've done stuff with them for years. Mm-hmm. The lag time, I'm so ADD, like I can't. I'll write an article in April and it won't come out till August. Right. I'm like, I can put something on the Huffington Post within the hour and get 20,000 hits. You know, I just don't get it. Yet at the same time, what's interesting is that, you know, the common thinking was Penthouse. Oh, you got to put it up top. You got to put it up on a shelf. You can't show the cover. It's dangerous material. Yet somebody felt they needed that cover to legitimize themselves. And now it's almost like with the internet and sex tapes and stuff, people are intentionally getting themselves caught having a sex tape released. And I've tried it 3 times to no avail. Yeah, I've seen. And, you know, it wasn't from lack of heart. I will give you that. It was all on 8mm. Which I thought was an artistic choice that should have been appreciated more. Thank you very much. But, you know, with iPhones these days, every kid on YouTube, you know, putting out their own sex tape. The long lens loves me, Dave. So it really take that inside baseball for everybody. Yes. In many ways. Being at Penthouse, did you ever have that sort of, did you ever run into people who were kind of like, oh, Penthouse? Because we were a little more puritanical as a nation back then, too. Yeah, I mean, this was, the 80s was still like the Mies Commission against pornography. That was all while I was in high school. And, you know, 4 years later, I'm working in a hallway with naked women up on the wall. It's a big switch. Like 3 years ago, God, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue was a big deal. It was, steal. And now I'm just staring at cans all day, and it doesn't. Yeah, it was the prohibitive 80s. You know, they wanted to put, you know, warnings about song lyrics, and they wanted to, you know, there was the Just Say No campaign, and anything considered adult. Their solution was to segregate it from pretty much anybody who had eyes or ears or breathed air. Because it would kill us. It would kill us. So what kind of stuff did you run into? You know, it wasn't really bad. There was one college girlfriend that, like, the mom never liked me anyway because I was from a broken home. Like, literally said that at dinner one night. Oh, well, I'd never let anyone in my family marry someone from a broken home. A broken home. Stephen, more mashed potatoes. So I can just keep dating your daughter, but you're never going to let me into this family. That's a phrase you don't hear anymore. Yeah. Because it's so common. Like 90% of homes are broken. Yeah. Right? So, even the ones at work sometimes pretty broken. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, mine's great and it's barely functioning. Use an oil change or two. But it's kind of like everything finds its own water level. Like, I didn't really run into it with my friends because I was 22. Like, my friends were now everybody I worked with. Right. And mostly guys who were like, you work at Penthouse? Yeah. Like, some of the girls may have thought that, but nobody came to me and said, I can't believe you work there, you swine. Right. But you were there until you were 30. Exactly 30. Toward the end, even at that rate, it wasn't. Like, how many new people was I meeting? Like, it was all people I knew from work. True. You know, it wasn't like I was hanging out at the country club. And you weren't going to, you know, running afoul of the church pastor. You know? Yeah, definitely not. So your one-man show describes a 16-year... Yes, so that's 8. That's 8 of it. We're halfway there. Yeah. So if I remember my math correctly, we are 50% of the way there. And if we can work out how much a 17.5% tip on that would be. But, okay, so where did you go from Penthouse? I got fired from Penthouse. Why? What was that? Was there a story there? No, it was, you know, the ship's going down and they closed magazines and started kicking off people. And at that rate, the internet had just started providing people with their just naked pleasure. Yeah. Wasn't even the internet porn hadn't really swept in yet because nobody had big pipes. That would have been my assumption that once the internet
made stuff available for free, that was the beginning of the end.
Oh, you want to know what the beginning of the end was?
Yeah, tell me, because that's interesting.
The VCR.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was go to a porno theater.
Right.
Or get a magazine.
Right. And
then
those
all of a
pictures
sudden,
moved on the VCR.
You can get Debbie Does Dallas on VHS.
Oh, okay.
And now you've got, remember when video stores opened up and then they always had that back room?
The beaded curtain kind of thing?
The beaded curtain, absolutely. That just ate into Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler, all of it.
So it was already undergoing a huge devaluation by that point.
Absolutely. Literally, when I said in '88 it was starting to go down,
and by '88, most people had VCRs in the house.
Yeah, and they were still $400.
Yeah,
in 1990 they were $200. By '92 they were $78 at Crazy Eddie's.
Oh, that's so funny. Wow, it's amazing to see how what we consider now to be a very inferior technology still demolished,
killed it.
Another industry.
Absolutely killed them. I mean, they were getting into the internet when I left. Mm-hmm. But like I said, fat pipes.
Nobody
remember when you could
take a week and a half to see somebody's face.
Just to get a picture. It would pixel by pixel.
Yeah.
To see Alicia Silverstone in a bikini.
Right. Yeah. Who am I thinking of? Who was the one who was just like the number one downloaded star, because she had one picture in a bikini available. I can't remember her name. That's gonna haunt me for years.
It's not Rhonda Shear.
No. It was man.
She had posters and stuff.
Yeah,
right. She was a blonde.
Cindy, was it Cindy? Not Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Margolis.
She was the number one.
Yep.
Everybody wanted a Cindy Margolis download, and we're willing to wait 20 minutes.
And God forbid somebody pick up the phone if you're on a
exactly.
dial-up.
That thing could fit. You can fit 4 billion of those pictures now on a thumb drive, and
I can watch Cindy Margolis, knitting for her cats at home right now, live on my iPhone.
That's true. And
I've been doing it the whole time we've been chatting.
It's an underrated app. So where did you got fired from Penthouse, and you ended up going to
fired from Penthouse, and this is when I literally picked up the pen again. I wrote a spec script for X-Files. Which was god awful because I didn't know anything at the time.
Right.
And I also had a notion to start my own music magazine. So I just started firing off letters. Again, we were still in the letter age. To music companies and trying to get it going. Didn't get anywhere. But that comes back into play. That's a little foreshadowing.
This is always good.
5 minutes from now.
Sure. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
After these words from the Cindy Margolis app.
Yeah. Have you wanted to see Cindy Margolis knit? Well, now's your chance.
And guess what, folks? 3 times a week she jumps in that bathtub. That's right. 3 times a week for 18 minutes you can watch Cindy Margolis bathe. And I had started dating a woman at the same time, young lady. And it was like speed dating because in 6 months of unemployment together, we just had 8 years of relationship.
Oh, yeah, of course, because you had lots of time
it was like, hey,
to spare.
What are we doing this morning? Let's get some eggs. Let's go to the park. Play tennis. La, 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 la,
and your previous job had set you up so that you weren't panicking, I'm guessing.
They gave me 6 months severance.
Okay.
Which, barely lasted the 6 months.
Really?
You would think I'd be fucking smart enough, Dave. Well, I'm not a smart man.
Well,
and I was getting unemployment at the time, too.
Oh, man. And you burned through.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would like.
Well, a new relationship can do that.
Yeah, I moved from the city to Long Island.
Okay.
Where she was from.
Okay.
And then after about 6 months, I got a job at another magazine company, which was Times Mirror, which eventually became was bought out by Time Inc.
Okay.
So that started the 8-year Time Inc. phase.
Okay.
Of, again, I got a job working in the circulation department.
Nice.
No, God. It was bad because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just an idiot fumbling around for an entire year, bluffing my way through this like I had done for so many years and so many other jobs.
Yeah.
But that company had, a nice little thing once a year. They would have this contest, not a contest, but like this big thing where anybody in the company could pitch a magazine. Oh, okay. And 20 people could pitch, and then they'd say, 10 decent ideas, come up with the next level.
Wow.
And then 5, and then down to more and more. Wow. And the music magazine that I tried to do in my unemployment stage, I wanted to bring that back to life. So I was still the new kid on the block. I'm like, raising my hand. I would like to pitch a magazine.
Yeah.
And I pitched it and I said, okay, get to the next. And I kept going. And it came down to like the final 2 magazines that they were going to put millions behind.
Wow.
And they decided to go with another one, which was fine. But that elevated me to a good level within that company.
Yeah, no, they must have realized that you had experience and credibility and you knew what you were talking about.
Chock full of bullshit.
Yeah, well,
it was just, and I'm tall. That also helps. A decent voice and being tall got me a lot further than it should have.
Yeah, I still don't know how I made it, but
we've all been wondering, Dave.
Yes. It's like I was told once before, a great face for radio and a great voice for newspaper.
I didn't know. I would use the great face for radio line. I've never used the newspaper.
There was a guy I worked with at Metro Networks, and the Metro, the MSG Metro, I think that was called MSG Metro Traffic and Weather Channel. And I would do the traffic on cable TV, which was the dumbest job ever. But there was a guy who worked for the company who would come in and oversee everything. And I credit him with coming up with that tag.
That's the perfect one.
But I have no idea what his name is. I forget, and I feel bad.
We can't even credit him.
A friend of mine wouldn't know. I'm
going to pretend I did it.
From now on, Steve Belanger.
I'm taking authorship of that.
If you
like
see
Pat
that,
Riley, I am going to trademark that like 3-peat.
Or are you really just taking the Michael Scott routine of, you don't make 100% of or you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, as quoted by Michael Scott. All right. So you got to that point there, and that kept you there for, I guess, 8 years.
And I kept getting promoted and more money, and you don't turn down money.
No.
Right? It got cushy. I married the girl. Mm-hmm. I, built a house.
Now that we know that this is the person you married,
yes.
Where was she from?
Wantagh, Long Island.
Wantagh, okay. Yeah.
And a funny side story, we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Manhattan for 10 years. After 3 months of unemployment in Manhattan, costly.
Yes.
And we're doing great gangbusters. I moved to Seaford, the next town over.
Sure.
And all of her friends said, wow, I can't believe Steve's moving out to Long Island to be with you. And she was like, what are you talking about? She had no idea that was the case. And I didn't know this until 10 years into the marriage.
That she didn't just put it together that you were moving there for her?
She just said it one night on a third glass of wine. We were just rehashing memories. Yeah, all my girlfriends, when you moved out here, they thought you did it for me. I'm like,
you did?
Dumbass. Of course what was the allure? The traffic, the lack of friends? I don't.
Just saying you're from Seaford. Yeah. I mean, that's enough right there.
I'm so close to where Seinfeld grew up. Now I'm from Massapequa, so I'm right
now you're
there.
in the heart of it.
I'm in Buttafuoco country.
And believe me, having come from very close to Buttafuoco country.
Really?
That is hollowed ground.
Oh, yes. I think it is hollow.
So you reached a point at this new place, and after, like you say, 16 years corporate life, what happened?
It was probably around 13 years of corporate life.
Okay.
It was specifically 2001.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. This is where we start playing the sad music. I always say that in my show. This is where the behind the music sad music comes in.
Yes, of course.
And I was interviewing a musician in his house with a piano, and he just turned and started playing the sad music.
That's brilliant.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
I was making, 6 figures.
Nice.
Still didn't care about my job, playing golf on the company dime, expense luncheon, everything. Life was perfect. I'm like, why am I so miserable? I'm still an asshole. My wife knows I'm miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to that little voice in my head, I should write.
Mm.
And one of the editors at Popular Science, which I was the general manager, running the business of one of the oldest magazines in the country.
Yeah.
And he was a little miserable. We'd hang out at lunch. On our third beer, lunchtime beer.
Jeez.
Let's write something. He had written a script once. I said, I have a couple of specs that never went anywhere. Let's partner up. Let's write a feature. 3 more beers. We're hugging. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. My wife, I remember she was sick that week, at home with a cold, sleeping in the other bedroom.
Uh-huh.
I come in stumbling drunk. Are you okay? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. Guess what? I'm going to be a writer. And I stumble off. And the next day, I went in there with such a bounce in my step. I'm just going to do this number stuff. I'm going to get this done. We'll start writing. Maybe we'll go to lunch today and start putting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to his cubicle, waiting to see that grin on his face. And he's smiling for a different reason.
Oh.
He came in that morning and they promoted him to senior editor.
Oh.
He said, yeah, so I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
But I was bummed for a couple of days. I'm like, well, dummy, just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started writing. Somebody said, if you're having trouble with dialogue, just take one acting class. Mm-hmm. And that helps you see the other side of it.
Yeah, no, it's important stuff.
I'm going to take all the advice I can get. And I took an acting class. And ooh, that bug kind of got me. I'm like, oh,
lit a fire.
I'm such a jackass. This is the perfect venue for me. Because, I'm an attention whore and a narcissist.
Sure.
Now everybody's looking at me. This is what I really wanted.
It took you that long to figure it out, but you figured it out nonetheless.
All of a sudden I became a Batman villain. Oh, yes. My pretties. And that had just started. I was doing a little bit of improv, I want to try everything now.
Right.
And then 9/11 happened.
Wow.
Which was like the fucking world changed.
Yeah.
And my building was across the street from the Empire State Building.
Oh, yeah.
So that morning, all right, they've taken down.
Yeah, you don't want to be
this is the next one,
building.
obviously. You don't know.
Yeah.
So it was a creepy day, scary day.
Sure.
And then in the months after that, I was like, oh no, I'm too young to be an asshole forever. Do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I just started jumping on stand-up stages, doing improv, acting, and I did both lives for 3 years.
Most people don't have the foresight to stick with one while still building the other.
Yeah.
Do you think from my perspective, it seems like, that must have been very, very helpful, very, very instructive, very, very, it helped support you starting this brand new thing.
Yes.
Giving you a 3-year head start, basically.
But that whole 3 years, I was kind of hoping to get fired. No, it's sad that that's the way my brain thinks.
No,
I didn't want to quit, per se.
Yeah, you wanted to be booted out the door and made to make a choice. And
not because, I was getting fired because I'm an ass. Yeah. But because, Time Inc. came in and bought us. Somehow I got like a 6-figure stay bonus.
Oh, jeez.
This doesn't happen to a lot of people.
No.
But I was an executive at an international company, and we were bought out, and somebody just handed me an envelope with a big fat check. I was like, oh,
wow,
that's okay.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good amount of money for people to live on for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, and I would then go do stand up, next to guys who can't afford to buy a soda.
Right.
I'm like, and I just want to be a pal with everybody, and that's not the environment I was going.
What year were you starting that? So was it 2001?
My first stand-up performance was December 29th, 2001.
Wow. And what do you remember about it?
I fell. Going up
literally?
the stage. Literally, hit the top step and didn't go down, but stumbled. Mm-hmm. And recovered. And
where was it?
The Duplex.
The Duplex?
Which is down.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a gay cabaret down in the West Village.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Oh.
I don't know if they still do comedy. It's like
somebody had a
theater
night
upstairs.
There.
Yeah, somebody did comedy night, and I went on a Friday and said, "Oh, I have to do this next Friday."
Right.
I just grabbed a business card and started doing it.
Wow. Was it a pure open mic, or did you have to bring people? Or
I was bringer. I was the king of the bringer. I did open mics. I hate open mics. I've talked a lot about that on my show. Open mics are where comedy goes to die.
It's very true.
Because other starting comics are not nice and friendly.
Yeah.
And don't want. There's only 8 laughs in the room, and if you get 7 of them, they can't get any.
Yeah, and nobody's there to really have a good time watching comedy. They're all there to work on their chops. And I've always equated it to making a performance out of practicing scales on a piano.
Yeah.
It's just not the part of things that people really need to watch.
Exactly.
But there's so few ways to get it done that
I found I would just go out to lunch with people from the office and not sit there and be the douchebag doing 10-minute set.
Right.
But I'd drop a line.
You try them out. Yeah.
If it got a giggle, I'd work that into a routine.
Yeah.
Just off the cuff, spontaneous stuff. That was my improving. And if it worked, if it got a laugh, I always made the mental note, oh, maybe there's something there.
Yeah. How long were you doing the bringers?
Probably 6 months.
6 months. And just so in case anybody is not 100% sure, when I just say bringers, it's the setup where if you bring X number of people who pay entrance and a drink minimum, you get stage time, and that's the deal. And it's usually a tough thing because you end up running out of people to invite to your show because they're paying your bill, basically.
But again, I'm competing with 23-year-olds whose friends don't have any money.
Right.
I'm 35, 36.
That's true.
My peers don't know any comics.
Right.
I work in an office full of people who don't understand this life.
And at the time, I'm sure there was a pretty big there were a lot of people in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife had her office full of people.
Sure.
And it got to the point where like I didn't really have to do it. Like my wife would just bring 2 people or
that's
people
cool.
would want to come. And then when you do enough of those shows and work with the same producers, like I wasn't just doing every club in town. I would just work with the same people and they go, oh, you only have 2 tonight? That's fine. Because 6 would come on Friday.
Right.
And, oh, you got nobody tonight? You host.
That's cool.
And I started hosting.
Oh,
so
that's
that
great.
gives you a whole... I thought I had a good, not a meteoric rise, but a decent rise. Because I went from that first show in end of the year to June. June, I did a big bringer show at Caroline's. Got a tape and started getting opening gigs.
Really?
From that. And I'm like, nobody does that.
Yeah. Who did you open for? Well, first I was going to ask, do you remember who was around when you were first doing your open mics?
Yeah. And once I got to the bringer shows, like I was doing Boston Comedy Club.
Yeah.
On Friday nights, and it was a known great show.
Yeah.
That it would be, the producer would get her time and we'd have decent comics, you know, always a full house, and then always have like a headliner come in. Like Patrice would come in and close the show. I mean, it sounds like such a legitimate show now. Mark Maron would come in and close the show at 10 minutes. Steve Byrne.
I did that show back when I was in college, and this is around 1990-ish. And I always thought that was the coolest thing in the world because it would be us scrub bringer types interspersed with like Mark Maron was there and David Tell was there.
You never know.
You just saw like how they masterfully own the room. It was a great experience, great learning experience. And but in terms of people who were starting out, did anybody stick with it?
When I got to the hosting stage, I was always hosting at the Cellar. There was one kid whose name I could never pronounce, and he was super funny, but 21 years old. Maybe no, he was 20. Because there was a comedy convention in Vegas that this manager who ran a lot of these comics and did the show. Like I kind of went with them, met them there, and everybody would leave, and me and this kid would hang out at the Hilton in the lounge, listen to bad music. I knew we had no money. I would buy him, whiskey sours, and I'd sit there sucking on bourbon. Yeah, nicest kid in the world. Good night, Steve. Aziz Ansari.
That's the first person that popped into my head when you said you couldn't pronounce his name. I figured that must have been him.
And I used to have to write it on a piece of paper.
Oh, wow.
And then, I stopped doing comedy. I'm like, oh, wait, that's the little brown. He always said, I'm just a little brown kid. Like, that's the little brown guy.
Right. That was just sort of his way of breaking down that barrier, just to embrace it. Yeah.
Which was great. And now he's, working the garden. And
yeah. Have you kept in touch?
No. We touched... The last time I talked to him was on MySpace, so that now we know. That
kind of tells you how long it's been. A
very specific period of time.
Yes.
And he was already blowing up. And I wrote, so glad to see you're doing well. You still owe me for those 17 whiskey sours.
Nice. Come collecting. Let's see what happens.
And he was like, oh, no, that's great. We got to hook up sometime. And then he got Parks and Rec.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
And never to be seen again.
Well, he's busy.
He's a little busy. If we ran into each other in a club, I'm sure he'd let me hang his coat.
Yeah. So how long were you doing the stand-up for?
I probably did it not that much longer. I started doing opener, like a 3-man show.
Yeah, who did you open for?
Guys like this is where the story gets weird because it was guys that nobody's ever heard of, and I still don't remember their names.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, but like I would go to Pennsylvania and do an opener in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah.
And I do 20 minutes. And then the featured guy, I forget how it was, the middle guy would do 30 minutes and kill. Yeah. And then this headliner that I've never heard of would come out and do an hour. Just people can't breathe. He's so funny. Yeah. And I do a bunch of those and I go, wait a minute. Nobody knows who the hell this guy is. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm sure he has a following.
Yeah. But then, he's doing that to make bills.
Yeah, now I know he's a road comic and he just goes out and he kills and he slays. He hasn't gotten the production deal, but he's doing it. Right. And while he's on, I'm just hanging out having beers with the middle guy. Right. And he's been doing it for 10, 15 years. Yeah. And I would sit there going, oh, I'm going to be I could do this for 10 years and at best, I'm going to be one seat over. Yeah.
It's so true. No, it's a realization that happens a lot. It happened to me in radio. Yeah. Where I was like, man, I look around at the people who've been doing this for a long, long time, and almost none of them seem happy, and none of them feel a level of success that makes them feel gratified. So I think this is maybe not right for me, and it's what also keeps me from pursuing stand-up comedy, and always did prevent me from pursuing stand-up comedy, is knowing how that road can just eat you alive and keep you in that same spot for years and years and years.
And there's no guarantee that I would even get to that middle position.
Yeah, you might be opener forever.
Or, I could have gotten there in 2 years.
Yeah.
Or in a year. It didn't matter. But I was still it didn't help that I'm making a ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't need the money on the road.
Right.
Now it's just time away from my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still working, 60 hours a week in a Manhattan office.
Right. And
it got old.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what separates you from somebody who has that in their DNA.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. It just means that that's not your destiny.
If that's how I paid my rent, I would have been hustling and doing all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just covering my gas money to get out to Pennsylvania.
Right.
I didn't care. It was pocket change.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care about I don't want free chicken tender. I get a free soda for each show. Oh, I don't care.
Actually, then I'm starting to rethink my strategy here. Chicken wings and a soda. That's really Dave's wheelhouse right there. All right. So when you transitioned out of stand-up, where did you go?
I kept acting and doing a lot of writing. I wrote a lot of spec scripts because I went back to that love of sitcoms and wrote a lot of spec scripts. Get the occasional commercial gig, and I'd still audition a lot because the stand-up had got me an agent.
Yeah.
And I'd go out to be sitting in my office, and can you get down to Beth Malsky on 19th at 1:00? Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're
I'm
in the
Manhattan.
city. Yeah,
I'm in Manhattan all day.
Yeah.
I can go down, show your hands, turn, say 3 words, and then go back.
Right.
But to Reader's Digest this a little bit, at some point when I'm a big deal, I'm one of the guys running the business of popular science, a vice president at Time Inc.
Yep.
They wanted to do a popular science TV show, like a news magazine, a PBS type show.
Sure.
And they had Warren Miller.
Yep.
Was another company.
The ski guy. Okay,
we just bought that. So this was the plan, to use their production company.
Oh, wow.
And the popular science brand and our science, and make a show.
Wow.
Made sense.
Yeah.
And we would sit in meeting after meeting, and they couldn't find a host.
Oh, interesting.
And I would sit there going, they clicked one day. I'm like, wait a minute. They kept talking what they're looking for. I'm like, if that came across my desk, as an actor, my agent would have sent me up for it.
Right.
But he didn't deal in that. He just dealt with commercial.
Sure.
So I just got the balls at one point. I approached the producer, who was from Colorado, was working with the ski guys. He came in, for his 14th meeting, didn't meet anybody he liked. And he liked me. I'm going back to Colorado tonight. This sucks. And I'm like, listen, don't say anything. Let me just tell you a little story about me. And I went through the whole spiel. Just, here's my resume. Here's a tape of me at Caroline's. If you don't like it, we never had this conversation. But if my agent saw this breakdown, he would put me up for this role, and you'd see me and wouldn't even think 2 shakes about it. And he was exhausted. And I could tell he wasn't rolling his eyes, but he really wanted to.
Yeah.
He sees me as the fucking numbers guy. I'm the guy who's going to give him a bigger budget.
That's
so he can't piss me off.
That context hurts you, but it helps you, but it hurts you.
He was, absolutely. Stuffed it in his bag and shambled off to JFK. Never hear. That was on a Friday. On Monday, I'm at a corporate golf outing. Once again, wasting the company's money. I'm drunk, coming off the 18th tee, and my phone rings, and it's this guy saying, "You asshole! Why didn't you say this 3 months ago? You'd be perfect for this."
Wow.
And just was like, I'm gonna call them. First thing in the morning. You should be the guy doing this.
Wow.
Next morning, the head guy comes blasting into my office. The fuck is this all about now? You want to host this show? You can't host.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa. He's like, what? You do comedy or something? You think you could? I'm like, what? You got a tape? Give me a tape. And he literally grabbed it on my hand. Boom, 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 boom. Stormed off. I might get fired. Now I might actually get fired.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he just came back in. You're really full of piss and vinegar, kid. All right. Well. Maybe we can work this out, but it can't just be you. We got to have a broad in there.
A broad?
Oh, yeah. This is
a broad.
Yeah. So they got a lovely woman with a news background to host it, and I was the guinea pig. We did a whole pilot. This was going to be something.
Big deal, yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it didn't get picked up. But there is a point to this whole story.
Sure.
6 months later, after it didn't sell, they had a consultant come in from the BBC. This woman came in to just critique what the ski company had done and the whole process. she did a review. It was the buzz around the office was that she didn't think it was worth anything. We can't do anything with this. All right, screw it. At some point in the next week, like nobody ever handed me the report, but I just got a copy of like the 6-page memo, the document she put together. Okay, yeah, the production values, yeah. And then there's this big paragraph. But whoever the guy is, you should do something with him because he's talented and the camera loves him and he is a likable guy. He should be the. And I was like, oh, so I call her up. Mm-hmm. We have lunch. We had 2 lunches, and I'm like, well, what should I do? I'm like. Well, now I'm at this point, I'm like pulling my hair. Like, I really don't know what to do. I have plenty of money, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'd much rather do this other thing.
Right.
And she literally across on the 3rd or 4th lunch said, I can't do a British accent, or I would do it for you. But she said,
fair enough.
Look at you, Stephen. You're miserable. Your shoulders, you're tight. You're just angry. Your lines. Like, why don't you just quit your job already? She was like, you can't have a leg in both worlds. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
If you want to just stay there and be comfortable, fine.
Right.
But if that's what you want to do, you got to jump in. No, I can't do that. There's no way. I paid the check on my corporate credit card.
Yeah.
And went home and told my wife, I'm like, you're not going to believe what she said today. We were laying in bed and my wife listened to the story and she said, why don't you just quit? And like we talked about it for another week and I went in and I took my 6-figure plus salary and said, I would like to leave now.
Wow. And
success has just not happened yet.
but in a certain way, and part of my goal for this is to be instructive to other people who may be sitting just outside the periphery of this business.
Right where I was.
Hearing somebody like you who had what some would consider a very successful career and a very comfortable living, but miserable, might inspire somebody else to just make a choice.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say to that person who was you back when you were first hearing that notion of quitting that job? What would you say to that person now? I
wrote an article for Men's Health like 3 years after the fact.
Okay.
When that guy who originally was going to write a script with me went to Men's Health and was the head guy there. And he's like, you're back in magazines, right? You didn't really go into showbiz. I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing it. Wow. I'll write an article about it. So I told that story we just discussed.
Yeah.
Inbox was inundated with I'm that guy.
Huh.
I don't want showbiz, but I want to be a barber.
Right.
I've always wanted to be a musician.
Yeah.
Like everybody had a story.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wrote everybody back personally, and I wrote them all the same thing. Like, if that's what you want to do and you can't stop thinking about it, like do it, but have everything else lined up. Like if you don't have enough money to do it now, wait. I waited a little while.
Yeah.
If you can wait 6 months, do it on the side. Like if it hurts your brain so much not to do it, you'll find time to do it.
Yes.
Like there's nothing worse than the people who sit on a train to and from New York to Long Island or Jersey. Oh, I really wish I was a writer. I hate my job.
Yeah.
Well, you got fucking 2 hours a day on the train.
Yeah.
Get out the laptop. You know, people, I would love to open a business. Well, start selling stuff, out of your house. There's any myriad ways in. But my first advice was, if you can't afford to do it, don't do it. Because there's enough pressure. And I sat in enough rooms of auditions of guys who can't make rent unless they get this fucking hemorrhoid cream commercial. Like, that is not going to help your performance. Actually, for the hemorrhoid cream, the pain and anguish in their face might actually book them the gig.
If they can channel that pain into a performance,
it would work.
It would work temporarily.
But if it was for the happy dad, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very true.
The lovesick couple, not going to happen.
Having a happy life, I think, is powerful enough to register on someone's face versus somebody who's absolutely miserable.
What we project is much more obvious to everybody else except for us.
Very true. Very true.
I got fucking zen there for a minute.
And you also got psychological.
Oh. I don't think that's true. I don't remember any of that stuff.
I know you have to run, so let's do some business. Yes. Your show, when is it going to be?
It's a one-man show. It's called It's About Time, which is a little play on words because it really is about fucking time. I do my own show. And it's also about all the stuff, a lot of the stuff we talked about, the timing in my life.
Yes.
Where I was always, too late to my family, got to Penthouse too at the wrong time. If I had my job at Penthouse in the 70s, I would just be rolling in hookers and coke and just be,
You might be dead, but
totally
that would be a good way to go, I suppose.
Like a Jim Morrison.
Yeah, right. Better to flame out than to fade away.
Blaze of glory, absolutely. And it's directed by the great Richard Klein. If you know sitcoms.
Yes. Larry from Three's Company.
Larry from Three's Company, who is also a huge Broadway guy. and has been my buddy for 10 years now. And
fantastic.
I brought up the idea with him, and he said, you have to do it, and I have to direct it.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's what I'm going to rehearse now. We open. We're doing a run in April. It got accepted into United Solo Fest, which is the biggest solo festival in the world.
Great.
In the fall. And if there's interest, I'm just going to keep running it. I'll probably do a couple of nights in LA with all my buddies out there.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see where it takes me.
And then your podcast, real quick,
is The Gamut with Steve Belanger on the Sideshow Network and iTunes, where I will soon be talking to you.
I look forward to it very much, and keeping up with you social media wise.
At Steve Belanger on Twitter and stevebelanger.com, where we'll have everything.
Everything and
podcast,
everything.
the show, pictures of my kids.
So if you're looking for a picture of a child, I don't know why are we advertising that?
Oh, that just got ugly.
It got really weird.
They're not really my kids. It's the picture I get with the frame.
That's what we used to do.
Right.
I don't want to. We were wrapping up the show, but I have to. We used to have this thing where we would buy. My parents were like, it was kind of funny, and we would buy frames and just leave the people there, and we would make up stories about those people.
A lovely blonde couple with the Irish setter
in a French cafe. That's what we would just reminisce about that moment in our lives.
That's a borderline psychopath.
I might need a psychologist.
Don't look at me, my friend. I'm a writer / actor / stay-at-home dad. I cannot help you.
Amen to that. Well, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
A real pleasure. That went too quickly.
We'll have to do it again.
We're going to edit it down to 5 minutes.
No editing at all. Steve Belanger. Heck of a guy. A lot of fun to talk to. And boy, he's got so much going on that it's just silly. But I think a guy like that is a really good example of letting it go, realizing what you want to do, and just going to get it. So I think it's great when somebody decides to do that with their life, and it makes it work. And it takes a leap of faith, but in so many ways it can be so rewarding. Maybe not, immediately financially, but at least you can wake up in the morning and like who you see. And I'm getting that sense that Steve is a guy who definitely likes who he sees when he wakes up in the morning and is happy to go to work and live his life. If you want to keep in touch with Steve, you can follow him on Twitter at Steve Belanger. He's also got his website, stevebelanger.com. You can subscribe to his podcast, The Gamut with Steve Belanger. That's available on iTunes. And if you want to know more about his one-man show, you can go to itsabouttime.show.com. It's About Time. His solo show will be Saturday nights in April, 7 p.m. at the Producers Club in New York City. And I will have all those links and all the links I mentioned earlier in the show notes for this podcast. Thanks to Steve for hosting at his secret office and for just being a cool dude. All right, that about does it for another edition of Bring Your Own Lunch. Glad you can join us. Thank you so much. Also got to thank Banuba, banuba.net, BANOOBA.net. They are the good folks who are providing the music you're listening to right now. Go to their site, download some music. Buy their music, go see them live, and of course, don't forget to go to our website, bringyourownlunch.com. All the information about the guests, past, present, and future of this program, presumably, will be there for you to check out and enjoy, and man, there's some good people who have been on this show, so go listen to some other episodes, not just this one, as good as this one has been. You can get a lot of enjoyment out of all the episodes, I would say. I'm biased, but it's true, and if you do like any of them, please go to iTunes or Stitcher, rate, review, subscribe, let people know what's going on here. So recommend it to a friend, recommend it to 2 friends, recommend it to 10 friends. You can fit in any number there, and I won't mind if you're going to go ahead and recommend anybody. And like us on Facebook, facebook.com/bringyourownlunch. Follow us on Twitter at BYOL Podcast. You can get involved on Instagram at Bring Your Own Lunch. And there's a YouTube page out there and all kinds of other stuff, but you already knew that. Stay tuned for Jimmy Jack's Cow Punch Hour, followed by Mansoor and the Fish. And until next week when I have another great guest lined up, this is Dave. I'll see you next Tuesday.